Hey there, it's Sam. I'm making this quick video here at the San Diego airport. So we're at the airport. Wonderful view out the window. So this week, with the astrology, we have the moon is going to be going through Sagittarius, Scorpio on Monday, and then Sagittarius Tuesday, Wednesday. We have this section of the zodiac where the sort of fears, the irrational, subconscious kind of animal fears of Scorpio, and those, those darker concerns that we have about those things we can't control, turn into deep life lessons and philosophies in Sagittarius. So Scorpio is literally that sign where we realize that we have no control over, mainly over the things we love, because it's a water sign. And it's related to love and feeling, and we realize that we're the most vulnerable in our heart, and those things that we love so deeply that we're terrified of losing. And we become aware of that fear in Scorpio, and so we try to control situations. What we really need to do is control ourselves and learn the truth of who we really are. Then we realize that we're not separate from those things we love and that we'll never lose them. But that's a very high and mighty road and high and mighty realization. So instead, we tend to worry about the things we love and that we're attached to. But then realizing that's a losing game, eventually, we look for a higher philosophy and a higher principle, a higher teaching, which is Sagittarius. And it's literally the sign of what is traditionally called religion. Most of us say we're not religious, but we're spiritual, but it's actually the belief in something that is the Sagittarius principle. Whatever you believe in, you might say, is your religion. And, spirituality is in all facets of life, but the belief part of spirituality is Sagittarius and Jupiter energy. So early this week, on Tuesday, Wednesday, the moon will be in Sagittarius, and it'll be opposite Jupiter. It'll be joined Venus, but it's also going to be aspected by Mars and Saturn and Jupiter and Venus. There's a lot of influences on the moon early in the week. So even though it goes through Sagittarius, which is hopeful, optimistic, and philosophical, because we're looking for a deeper meaning to life beyond just the terror of losing everything, which again, that irrational terror of Scorpio, that irrational fear. And again, it's not just irrational fear, but the irrational fear compels us to look deeper into things, to look deeper into life's mysteries and those things we can't control. That's why Scorpio has that emotional depth and emotional power to try to stabilize the emotions, fixed water. In doing so, the only way that... Oops, we got an announcement.
Wolfgang Clark, please make your way to
Wolfgang Clark.
Your plane is waiting for an on-time departure. Once again, Spirit Airlines
So,
paging Wolfgang Clark.
once we look deeper into things,
things,
we look for a higher philosophical answer. And that's what Sagittarius is about and what Jupiter is about. So, having the moon there early in the week will be important, but there's going to be a lot of energy on the moon, aspected by Jupiter, who's retrograde, Venus, who's retrograde, aspected by Saturn, and aspected by Mars. So there could be a whole lot of intensity early in the week with the moon in Sagittarius, aspected by Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, and Venus. So it's a great time for devotion and purpose early in the week, because that Venus-Jupiter relationship is going to really compel deeper feeling and emotion and connection to higher principles, because it's in Sagittarius, which is really about things not necessarily of this world. Jupiter, who's the ruler is trying to connect us to things that are more eternal and bigger than just all of our worldly concerns. That's what our teachers are, our teachings, and our philosophical principles. Everybody's got some answer to it all. What's it all mean? Everybody's got some philosophy, even atheism. Atheism is a very strong religion. People believe it. That's all Jupiter is. It's belief, what we believe. But we need to test that with something that makes sense. That's why right now with Jupiter in Gemini, we are testing our beliefs and seeing how they work. So since June of 2013, since Jupiter's been in Gemini, it's not been enough to just believe in something. We want to know how it works. So these themes can be really important early in the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and of course getting the pressure from Saturn and Mars to really concentrate on a belief system or a lifestyle that embodies our teachings will be important. And also, having the discipline, which is Mars, to really put it into place, and connect it with the devotion, which is Venus. Venus in Sagittarius is very devotional because, again, this brings the realm of Venus, which is about our worldly desires and pleasures and happiness, which usually revolves around other people, into the realm of Jupiter, which is very philosophical and very expansive. When someone has Venus in Sagittarius in their natal chart, they're often disappointed with their relationships and their relationship partners. One of the key words to Jupiter, which we hardly ever hear, and you want to remember this forever, is disappointment. Now, we tend to think of Jupiter as hope and optimism. That's true, but it's also a very high standard, and it's also the disappointment that compels us to look higher. For instance, Venus can be very satisfied in the moment. Like if you feed a cow, like you can look at Taurus, the sort of Taurus quality of Venus, which is contentment, santosha, to be happy with what we have in the moment. It's better, I'm out of the sun. I'm happy in the moment now, the sun's not in my eyes. Once you feed a cow, once you put food in front of it, it can be very satisfied in the moment. But Jupiter is not about things of this world. Jupiter's about things that are higher, so yes, it gives us hope and optimism in higher things, but that can tend to short-circuit happiness in the moment, pleasure in the moment. And what the experience is disappointment with what we have. You can feed a cow in the moment, and the cow can sit there and eat it, and then sit down and be like, okay, I'm complete. And we need to find that sort of contentment in the moment. But the problem is, we're not just a cow. We can eat the food and then we're like, okay, what's next? Now what? This is just food. This is just the body. I'm not just the body. I'm disappointed with this. This is not all there is. And so this comes from Jupiter, this expansiveness beyond what we have now. So when Venus is in Sagittarius, or in Pisces actually, one of the things about exalted Venus that you should remember is disappointment. It's this wistful promise that other people will make me happy. Physical beauty will make me happy. Satisfying my desires will be the ultimate. I can find liberation in other people, in my desires, in worldly beauty, in art. This is the wistful promise of Venus that doesn't play out. And we feel it play out when Venus is interacting with Jupiter. Disappointment with worldly pleasures and happiness. So this is why this Venus retrograde transit through Sagittarius is bringing out a lot of high standards. It's setting the high standard for relating with others. And we're seeing how other people have disappointed us. And if we're intelligent, we're seeing how we've disappointed them as well. And where we're not living up to our own standards, for example. So these are big themes early in the week as the moon goes from Scorpio to Sagittarius, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So anyway, I hope you're having a good day, week, whatever. Here comes an airplane. I love airports. San Diego. Okay, over and out.